Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but feel exhausted? You love God, you care for your family, you lead, you serve, you work hard, you keep showing up. Yet somewhere along the way, you stop feeling like yourself. If this resonates with you, I want you to know something. You are not alone. I believe Scripture offers a beautiful picture of how God responds to those who are exhausted. Welcome. I'm Dr. Sedaria August, a Christian therapist, certified Christian mental health coach, board-certified health and wellness coach, and founder of Under Cultivation Christian Therapy and Coaching. Everything I teach, from resilience and nervous system regulation to emotional healing and whole person wellness, is based on a biblical truth found in 1 Kings chapter 19. I believe this scripture reveals God's heart for those who have been carrying too much for too long, not just because it's popular, but because it truly matters. In 1 Kings chapter 19, Elijah had just experienced one of the greatest victories in Scripture. God answered his prayers with fire, resulting in the defeat of the prophets of Baal. If anyone should have felt confident and full of faith, it was Elijah. However, after receiving a threat from Jezebel, he fled into the wilderness. He isolated himself and became overwhelmed. He sat beneath a broom tree and prayed, "I have had enough." I want to stick a pin right there for a second and ask you, have you ever felt as if you had had enough? At that moment, he wanted to give up. What amazes me is how God responded. He didn't correct Elijah or shame him. He didn't ask, "Where is your faith?" Instead, an angel woke Elijah and said, "Arise and eat." Elijah ate, drank, and then fell asleep again. The angel returned a second time and said, "Arise and eat, for this journey is too great for you." That sentence changed my understanding of healing. Notice the order. God restored Elijah's body before renewing his perspective. Before God spoke through the still small voice, he ensured that Elijah had rested, eaten, and regained his strength. This teaches us something important. God cares about the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. As Christians, we sometimes separate these aspects, but God does not. The God who created our spirits also created our nervous systems, brains, and the need for sleep. He established the importance of food and the rhythms of work and rest. He understands that when our bodies are depleted, it affects how we think, how we feel, how we relate to others, and even how we experience Him. This is why I'm passionate about helping high-achieving women. Many of the women I've worked with are incredibly capable. They are leaders, professionals, mothers, caregivers, ministry leaders, and business owners. Everyone sees them as strong. However, beneath that strength often lies a woman who has been surviving for so long that she no longer knows what it feels like to simply be at peace. She believes she must earn rest, that slowing down means she is falling behind, and that saying no equates to letting people down. Over time, these beliefs take a toll on her body. She may experience chronic stress, sleep problems, brain fog, emotional exhaustion, difficulty concentrating, and a feeling of disconnection from herself. These issues are not always indicators of weak faith. Sometimes they are signs that your capacity has been depleted. That is why my therapy and coaching practice begins with restoring one's capacity. I don't simply ask, "What are you thinking?" I also ask, "How are you sleeping? Are you nourishing your body? How is your nervous system responding to stress? What beliefs are preventing you from resting? What emotions have you been carrying alone?" How is your relationship with God influencing the way you care for yourself? Healing isn't just about changing thoughts. It involves the whole person that God created. By restoring capacity, we create space for clarity. When we create space for clarity, we become better able to hear the truth. When we hear the truth, we can walk in purpose with greater resilience. Many people associate resilience with simply pushing through challenges. I believe, however, that resilience is the capacity to recover effectively. The healthiest individuals are not those who never experience fatigue. Rather, they are the ones who understand how to return to a state of restoration. Maybe today you're feeling like Elijah. Perhaps you've been carrying responsibilities that no one else sees. You might have become so accustomed to functioning while exhausted that you've forgotten what true peace feels like. I want you to hear this. You don't have to earn God's care. You don't need to prove your worth through constant productivity. Your humanity does not disqualify you from your calling. In fact, Scripture reminds us that God ministers to us in our humanity. Sometimes His invitation isn't to do more. Sometimes His invitation is to simply receive, to rest, to nourish your body, to restore your capacity, because the journey ahead still matters. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to continue this journey with me. In this channel and within my Mighty Networks community, we will explore resilience through the lens of scripture, psychology, health, and nervous system regulation. We'll discuss burnout, boundaries, rest, healing, emotional resilience, practical ways to care for the body, mind, and spirit that God entrusted to you. My prayer is that every woman who joins this community discovers that rest isn't simply a reward for completing the journey. Sometimes it's God's way of preparing us to continue it. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.